Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. Today, I'm excited to welcome Jake, a certified executive business coach, best-selling author, business strategies, and so much more. He has massive experience in real estate, construction, executive leadership, and so many different industries. So I will probably ask him a lot of questions because I'm really curious. What he does, he empowers business owners and professionals to unlock their potential, mostly in that area of really perform high, really going beyond and about and really push the boundaries. And I love that because I know you have the project disruption or disruptor, and I really love that there's always something we can do better, different, and we can push, our comfort zone. And I think that's what I found out that was very interesting. So I'm looking forward to this conversation and looking forward to talk about all the mission and vision you have in your life, in your business. So welcome.
Thank you. It's really excited to be here with you. I know, we're talking across the entire planet, which is still even today, and like we're used to doing this. We do it all the time, and yet what an amazing gift this is for us when it comes right down to it, of being able to speak live. You're literally almost polar opposite side of the planet from where I am right now. And it
Yeah.
is it is so cool to be able to just have these conversations and hang out with new people. So I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying it. It always brings me back to, being more centered and a little emotional because I think it's so true. We forget to be grateful. We forget to be grateful for small things like this. They are actually massive things. If I will talk
Mm,
about, someone, my I don't know, the granddad that is not here, and I will tell him this is the reality. Can't even imagine, his reaction or what he will think about it. So yeah, it's so true. We are so lucky. And I will ask you, please share where are you based?
so I'm middle of Wyoming, geographically kind of right in the middle. It's a little town called Glendo, halfway, we're literally mile marker 100 going north into the state. From where we are, we're very fortunate with our ranch that we can't see, like right now it's dark outside and there are no lights from any other houses that I can see anywhere. We are out in the middle, but we're not that far away. But we get that very rural feel, so it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That is nice. And I'm just thinking like it's not dark, it's the middle of the day here. It's a lot of sun and yeah, so I'm here in sunny Brisbane, so it's very beautiful to have polar opposite really exactly.
Hmm.
So it's really nice. I'm so sorry I catch you I caught you in the night. But yeah, look, I think first of all I would love to share with people I invited you because I really truly enjoyed the conversation we had. And I really truly value people. They're really here to serve, and it's not all about, the quantity and massive things. And it's just actually just being humbled. And I just really enjoy that, being humbled, being grateful and having just normal conversation truly, because we know that we are all powerful. We all have, our strengths and weaknesses, and just being grateful for what we have and being grateful that we meet people. They can actually lift us up and they can help us, to grow to different directions. So thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for doing that kind of work because I really truly appreciate that. And yeah, just for everyone who's listening, I know I'm still keeping that as a secret. So tell us something about you and how did you end up, or what you're doing right now, what you do for work, and yeah, just a little background story.
Yep. So that's my universe is kind of a very organic journey. Is just where I have felt called is where I have traveled. And that has been through, work and business as well as family, as well as geography, much like you. You've traveled a lot and you have a lot of very extensive experience. I was born in, the Eastern United States in Pennsylvania, and my father, who was my dad, father's a terrible word. I don't like that one. He was my dad. He moved us to Colorado when I was 4 he was ready for
Nice.
adventure. He was ready to go and do the thing and just step away from where he was in his universe. And I've really followed that path my entire life. And we lived in Colorado. We moved around a lot down there. And then my wife, we moved to Wyoming. We've lived in Alaska for 10 years.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, we've come back and so we've moved around. We've done a lot of different things. So in a work capacity, I guess family capacity. Met my wife in high school. This summer, we will be married 30 years and we will be together 35, which is like, there's those days I look in the mirror and I'm like, I am not old enough to be like married 30 years. That is a bizarre spot to me to think. It's all right. It's cool. And it's a great
It's
spot, but yeah,
something wrong with numbers. That's okay.
it's just numbers. It's just numbers. It's just so we met there, and through I started my professional career in construction because that's what was available to me at the
Mm,
time.
yeah.
Largely residential. I worked in all of the trades, and I've gone through all of that throughout the years, which eventually culminated in a real estate career that I ran for a number of years, a very successful real estate career. I'm still in real estate, which then started to evolve into the coaching and training and speaking role. Um,
Mm,
Bringing that previous experience in, which ended up in a CEO executive role that I did. And then I returned to the coaching role in that coaching space because that's what I really enjoyed before and during that CEO role was helping other people grow, helping other people
yeah.
throw off those limiting beliefs and those shackles and really just excel at what they are actually capable of doing. There's that, I even look at the box that we're in right now, and it's a lie, right? That box we put ourselves in, and that's one of those spaces. So in that journey of coaching, I went down NLP, which is neuro linguistics programming, became a NLP master practitioner because it had such a profound effect on my life. In what, I went initially on all honesty, and a lot of us do, coaches and whoever we are, we're going to take a class to get better at something so we can apply it to our trade. By and large, that's how it works. You go do education so you can learn something and apply it externally. NLP was not that for me. I went with that intention. I showed up to that first course with the intention of I'm going to learn a thing and then I'm going to apply it to my clients and it'll be fine. And that changed my entire world. Everything about me became different after those first 4 days. My wife will tell you that, my family will tell you that.
Yeah.
And that started the journey I'm on now, which is, very much in this coaching space, in this trainer space, speaker space, as you said, author space of sharing that message, sharing my message, and helping other people be limitless, much like what you do, and just that space of understanding the mind body connection, understanding the manifestation process of what we are truly capable of doing, and everybody is. So that's the really like 30,000 foot view of what I do in the space that we are. And you had mentioned total disruption. So that's our brand. You can see that in the background as well, of what we do currently. And it's a coaching platform. It's a visibility platform. We have TV show, we have a magazine, we have podcasts, we have conferences. And it is all about getting entrepreneurs and business owners visible. How
Yeah.
many I've had and it's so funny because of the last several months, and literally in the last several months, we started this weird research project just as a kind of a pet project of like, what's the one problem every business owner has, regardless of their generation, their millennials, Gen Xers, tech natives, all that, or, industry or business or geography. What is the problem that they have? And like by and large, there is an agreement that they feel they're the best kept secret. So many coaches, so many professionals, and yes, every one of us has done that. And so we said, and we were too at one
Yeah.
point, we felt the
Um,
exact same. And we said we got to solve for this. This is a pain point that all of our people have.
yeah.
How do we use what we've built to solve for it? And that's where we're going to. And it started out as a research project, and I'm just kind of prattling on here, but it started out as a research project of, if my business is not about me, just not. I mean, plain and simple, it's about my customers, it's about my clients, it's
Yeah.
about them.
How it
What do they
should be.
need? what do they want? What do they need?
Yeah.
And versus me saying, I built this new super cool thing and I think it applies to you. I asked the question a different way. And I said, all right, what do you need? What do you need me to build? What do you
Mm.
need created in your business that would change the face of your business? So when I asked it a different way, that's how we landed in this platform that
Yeah.
we're playing in now.
It's amazing. I have actually so many things that just pop up in my mind because the last few weeks, basically, what we like, we didn't announce that yet, so I can't really talk about that. But there is kind of announcement coming because it's really hard because it started with conversation with someone, and I said everybody disregards me. I feel like that because I'm not the loudest in the room. I don't want to be loudest in the room. I just want to be me. I don't want to change. I don't want to be the person that will be always everywhere. And with that, it's really hard to compete in the space when everything is noisy, right? So I was like, I want to do it differently. And we talk about that a lot. I was like, how we can do it, how we can change it, how we can actually really be us, live based on our values. And I want to live by my values. And I have amazing team. I'm working with people that are same values, where we are aligned, and we want to have freedom, we want to travel, we don't want to just spend time on being loud and going everywhere. We don't want to do that. We want to have our privacy, our life, our like there was all these conversations that were happening. And I think if you, and this will probably sound maybe bad for some people, but I truly believe actually you're a really good coach when you don't want to be everywhere, because you want to be truly there for your clients, for your customers, and
Mhm.
you really want to give them time. And when you have time at home, you want to, or in your office, you want to actually think how to improve for them, or processes or something for them, not for you all the time, because it becomes the game about you. And you're right, like I love how you describe it, because it's not about us, it's not about me, it's about actually people that we serve. And oh,
Mhm.
so happy you say it. And I can't wait to share with you something, but that will be not here yet.
Well, well, we had a conversation about a week ago.
Yeah.
Is this the thing we were talking about a week ago?
There is something, it started to kind of shape a little bit on top of that. So I will, it's yeah, it's a little,
Oh,
it's
like,
going to be
and I'm teasing your audience with that too, because I know how passionate you were about it and where
uh
you want to go. And like, oh, I'm so excited for you. That is
yeah,
absolutely going
it's
to be amazing to start moving
that.
that ball.
Yeah, definitely the big one will take time, but I think there is a path how to create those environments and how to, yeah. So it's, again, it's like you, right? It's research, is, step forwards, and meeting right people, talking about this and connecting with right people, and maybe do it together. It's all about that, right? Because when we want to grow and
Mhm.
serve better, we can't really do everything by ourselves. So my question to you is why you do what you do? Because I can see a lot of passion, right? That starts somewhere.
Yeah, and that is I am glad I can't describe it well. I really am. Because I don't think I would be doing it justice if I did. So
Yeah.
I saw a really cool quote, and I've heard it a million times too. And Albert Einstein, if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you yourself don't know what you do. So I think about that and I'm like, all right, rather than define it in these grand Elizabethan or whatever, vernacular, why do I do what I do? I had a client earlier this week. Earlier this week, we were just having a conversation, much like you and I are now in the coaching space, asking her questions, what's going on in this, what's going on with that. And she had on her own, like this is just the guided piece, she had on her own a very clear breakthrough, a very clear space to where you watched the light. Like
Mm.
you watched her just, deer in the headlights, whatever you want to call it. She just went, oh, and it was a moment, however small it is. It was a ratchet forward. It was a huge space, and that's one of those. I am incredibly grateful for those because I know what comes after. Like when they have those moments when and it's not we got to break you down and tear you all the way to this space and rebuild you new. No, it's these amazing little ahas, breakthroughs, moments of clarity that my clients will have in those moments. And and you as a coach know that this is true. We will have, I would say, 100 hours of coaching calls. Talk to
Mhm.
me about your business, talk to me about your KPIs, and we'll talk and we'll talk and we'll talk. And it will take 100 hours sometimes to get that 10 seconds of somebody just going, and that is so powerful. Like, I love that. It just feeds me in
Yeah.
that space of, it's like, yeah, this is why I do what I do. So, it's not I can't describe it for here's the transformation that I give my clients. That's not necessarily true for
Yeah.
why I do what I do. So I share that story for that reason of it's an intrinsic value. Like, I can't really describe to you what it is, the feeling that I get.
Mhm.
It's not a yay me, pat on the back of I
Yeah.
got you there, I
Yeah.
got you there. It's I was there when they had that moment. Someday they'll tell a story to their great great grandkids. There was this guy. I don't remember what his name was, but man, he used to make me so mad. But he said this one thing to me, and it changed my life. Like, brilliant. That's
I
that's
agree.
all, that's all I can ask.
Yeah, and this is the thing that I believe. I love what you're saying because I totally relate to that. Like, it's just really true, that feeling of, what, maybe someone will have a little bit better life, right? Just having insight, just having the conversation, and of course it's their journey and their decision, they came to even talk to you. So I always said, exactly, it's not on us, right? It's actually the person took all steps they needed because they knew they want to actually move to the next level or to some different level in their life or business. So I
Hmm.
appreciate it. And look, that was for me, my teacher. She said something when I was in high school that truly saved my life, because I wouldn't be probably in university. I wouldn't be anywhere, basically, because there was no one
Hmm.
else for me that time. For that little moment of my life, she was there and she saw something in me that I didn't see and my parents didn't see. So for me, that was, I actually called her and thanked her after 30 years, because I realized I never ever told her thank you. And she didn't even know that I actually had that experience with her. So many times we don't know, we're doing, and all people probably do this through the conversations with other people when we are there, when we learn how to listen, how to be there as a guide, as a support, not as an advisor, but being there to hold that space,
Hmm.
we actually all can do it, and it's such a beautiful feeling. I agree. It's the light, right? It's the light of seeing the inside. I can see the face.
And
I
it, it
I
it
can
is.
imagine.
It's that understanding
Yeah,
space. I had one of the trainings that I had gone to get better as a coach and develop my skill and develop my craft. A amazing coach. His name's Terry Gurno. Absolutely amazing guy. And he used to say it all the time. The right question asked at the right time will change a person's life. And there's so much, I don't want to say power, but that's the best word I'm going to come up with at the moment. There's so much power in that statement, understanding that the work that we do, the importance of what we do, and how it impacts and changes the course
yeah,
of what someone's doing, whether it's in their business or in their personal life. And you and I both have, I don't know how many stories of times that we can look back and we can go, okay, this person, you have that story to where that person said that to you in high school. Um, when I was year one in real estate, and I had a really successful, real estate career, and I had a great first year, rookie of the year, all the cool accolades that you get. And it wasn't that I'm like amazing at real estate, like just nobody told me I couldn't do it. Like, nobody said, "Oh, the market's bad," or whatever it is.
yeah,
I went
yeah.
in, I treated it like a job, and I had an amazing mentor at the time that, drove me there. And at the end of that first year, and I say this about her all the time. Her name's Barb Huntley. She lives in Alaska. I talked to her 3, 4 hours ago. I talk to her all the time. She's still a great mentor of mine. We were doing business planning for the following year. And I had done, I think, 27 transactions that year, which in your first year of real estate, by all accounts, is a really solid year. And she said, "Okay, what's your plan for next year? What are you going to do?" And I thought, okay, standard business school says a 10% growth rate is really nice and that's really
Yeah.
good. So I added 10% to it. I added 3 deals. I said, "I'll do 30 next year." And she stopped. and she did one of these to me, and she wears glasses just like I do. And she took her glasses down on the tip of her nose, and she goes,
Are you serious?
and just kind of looked. Yeah, she totally did that. And she goes, Jake, why are you settling for good when great is on the table?
Love it. That was
That has resonated with me, and that was a moment. Like that
Mm.
was a moment. And I tell her about it all the time. I blame her too, because I'm like, you make me work harder
It
now.
made me this,
Uh,
yeah. It's your fault.
so just because, but that's to your point. That was somebody that didn't have to believe in me. They weren't related to me. They weren't,
Yeah,
married to me. It wasn't a, requirement. That was just one of
yeah.
those, she saw something and she said, you're settling. What are you doing? And that was one of those moments that really ratcheted my universe forward. And she's been a great mentor to me over the years for
I
that.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love that, there is a sentence in the right time we need to hear, is the question or sentence or things that we need to hear. And I believe when we are tuned into actually our passion, we always find it. We always find the guidance on the way. So it's really nice to have those kind of people in environment.
Mhm.
So you mentioned NLP and you mentioned that you started to do coaching. So I'll be curious, was that any transformation for you, maybe the moment that you changed as well? Because I believe when you even go to NLP training is already like, oh, like you're working through all these traumas and things. So I believe they are parts of us, because we are learning, we are always part of the training, we are part of the coaching. So is
Mhm.
there anything that kind of shifted you to different path, or maybe when you were creating new projects, is there something that really was like, oh, okay, I want to do this?
Yeah, I mean the NLP, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of them. Now I recognize them. I guess I didn't recognize them before
Oh
that.
yes, yeah.
I wasn't looking for them. I
Mm.
wasn't paying attention. I wasn't listening for it. I wasn't using all my sensibilities. I
Yeah.
just didn't know that they were there, but there were all these little course corrections in my path coming along. And the big ones, like during NLP, there's a couple of different techniques that you go through,
Yeah.
that, one of them was really, really impactful. And I shared this with you about 3 weeks ago. So during NLP, this has been November 2017 was my first neurolinguistics programming practitioner course. And there was a woman in class. Her name's Valon, that was there. She was just assisting that day, but she was there, during a moment when it was like, and I cried like a little girl. It was awesome. Like I will own that one all day because it was
Awesome.
yeah, it was so good because there's oh, what's the technique called? I blanked out on it, but basically it was very simple. Well, another one is called Ho'oponopono. It's a real word, swear to God. It's a Hawaiian forgiveness
Yeah, I
ceremony,
know that one. Yeah.
and it's so useful and powerful. And we went through that, but she was there. She was just there as a facilitator. She handed me the box of Kleenex. That was her job for the day. I saw her about 3 weeks ago, at another event. Hadn't seen her since that time, and I took time to thank her. I'm like, man, you were there. You were in the room that day that this started to change for me.
Yeah.
And I was just so grateful to just know her in that. And, you and I have both shared how important it is to be thankful, right? To thank that person, to share that energy with them is incredibly, a huge, huge transformational process. So that was one of them. And then I've spent a lot of time, I spent probably a year working through something that's called Journey Along the Timeline. And you spend a lot of time, and there's a meditative state that's association and disassociation that you work through, and then you walk backwards in your timeline, and you're looking, and this is used largely in, they use a lot in trauma, to kind of rewrite
Yeah.
and reframe in that space. And I had walked, I got all the way back, to third grade, and I had, this is what prompted me to write my first book. I got all the way back to third grade, was I got a negative label laid on me. by a mentor or role model in that space. Her name was Mrs. Green, God rest her. I've completely forgiven her for what it is, because I was a feral little boy. No question about it. I don't
Can't
blame.
believe that.
Yeah, rough and rugged, man. I came in trailing leaves, and just an absolute, tons of energy. I get
Yeah,
it. And we sat in a parent teacher conference where she told my parents that I would never amount to anything, and I was just too unruly, and I was too disruptive, and
pretty
derailing the
much.
other kids, and just really that she was so exhausted
Yeah,
because of my energy. I was way over the top energy. But at the moment I heard her, in that moment I heard her, and I proceeded to carry that curse for about 25 years before I started to come out of it. And that was thankfully due to some other mentors and role models. The interesting dynamic of that is I didn't have to accept that label at the time. I chose to. I chose to accept that limiting belief, put myself in that box.
yeah,
And then it required, 25 years later, it did require someone else that externally validated and came in and said, you're better than this. You are better than this. You are destined for more than this. You can do what you need to do. And I had to believe them. So a lot of times we talk about going down this path by ourselves. And the most powerful part of that whole thing, when I realized that's what it was, when I walked backwards on this timeline in NLP and I got to that space, I was able to forgive her. And the power in the forgiveness
yeah,
piece is cannot be overstated. Like it's so simple to do this, and it is an energy release and an energy recovery tool that I would love to see a not a research done on it, but like there has got to be some kind of cool infrared live scope camera that you could point at somebody
yeah. I can
and
see the weight of
free
energy.
and just
Yeah,
see what it does. Like
yeah,
in my mind, it looks like the 4th of July when you do that. It's just fireworks everywhere,
yeah,
going off, and it's such a powerful tool. And it was a massive lurch forward in my universe
yeah,
to put that away, not let it go. I accepted it for what it was. It is what it is. It happened. It happened. Whatever the case may be, it was traumatic for a third grade little boy. Um, I accepted for what it was. I forgave her because if she was alive, I would call her and forgive her. But you can still forgive, and that
yeah,
power in that to move you forward is exponential. So important
yeah.
foundational stuff.
I agree, and it's interesting because when I felt like forgiveness, it was I describe it as a big stone that just came out from my body, and I felt the weight is gone, and it's such a beautiful freedom. Maybe that will be probably the best
Hmm.
way to describe it. It just feels free. Like it feels so free.
Hmm.
And I always said you don't need to forget, but forgive, right? So if you don't want to
Hmm.
forgive, that's fine because we have memories, we think we know things, but the moment that is attached to the emotion and is our energy attached to that, and we don't want to let it go, it actually puts us down more and more. So actually the negative belief that someone actually told us something, we believe in that and we started to attach more and more energy on that and emotions and I feel like it's just growing always so yeah, I agree. Forgive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
forgiving.
the truth of it is, we shouldn't forget. We should not forget, because that is part of what forged us into what we are. Where we are right now, we are a culmination of all the experiences, everything good, bad, and different that has ever occurred in our universe is the reason we are what we are right now. To
Yeah,
forget that would be to deny, much like what you just
yeah.
said, Alex, would be to deny our core values.
Mm,
And that is at the core of what we are and who we are, how we exist, how we communicate with the world. We just have to forgive, and it's okay. It is okay to do it. And to your point, yeah, I I agree with you. It feels like you just letting go of carrying a big
yeah,
stone, just dropping the rock.
and so
And I
many
don't
times.
carry this dumb
Yeah,
thing. Like
So,
it can stay right there in the trail. Bye, rock, and you can walk away. Like it
and
is.
sorry, I didn't want to jump
No,
in.
no, you're good.
I was just thinking about the rock because there is a story. Actually, my husband was sharing that with me, and it's like we sometimes decide to hold this rock, right, and we carry that for all life, and we actually don't need to. We can just put it aside, and we can walk free, and we can actually, take the direction we want. But with rock, we just go slow, and we just still like, step by step, and it's heavy, and that's our decision. So the weight of limiting
Mhm.
beliefs, it limits we gain, and we hold them on, or we hold on to them, it just becomes too big. And I love that. Thank you so much for sharing because I know that's very personal. So what keeps you probably going? Because I will be curious what motivates you. Because you're taking care of that high performance, you're helping people to, achieve more, to be more, to create more, and just really support people. But how do you support yourself? Like what is helping you to keep going, being motivated?
The basics. Like I will tell you, it is the
Basics for
basic.
you, not basics
What?
for other people, right?
Yes and no. I don't know that that's not necessarily true. And of course, I've spent a lot of time working through this to understand what it is. So,
Yeah.
like, the basics is being able, okay, so I'll give you some examples of tools. Let's go this way, of tools that I use in order to keep me on the straight and narrow, to keep me motivated, to help me with my energy. The tools that I've got that I have established are the most powerful ones for me. One is gratitude. We started right there earlier, and that
Yeah, I love
is,
that.
it is, so there, the science around it. Here's the easy button for you. It is impossible to be grumpy and grateful in the same space. You cannot, the two, no, they're opposite magnets. When you are grateful, you are in a positive space. You're in a positive energy. You are going to move forward. I have asked the question, every single coaching call I have had for the last decade, and I have them, they're all recorded. I can prove it, is I will ask the same question every single time. What are you grateful for today? And I
Mm.
do it for a very specific reason because when we reset our state into gratitude, we can now have a less emotional, and I like to say non-emotional, less emotional conversation relative to what's going on in the business versus the meta models of everything's a problem, it's all broken. What are we grateful for? And by and large, it's almost always something little, little tiny things. So for me, I have a gratitude journal. It's downstairs while my coffee is brewing. I write in my gratitude journal. I'm kind of critical with my time in that regard. If I can't be drinking coffee, I need to be grateful because otherwise I'm going to be grumpy.
Yeah.
So I start with gratitudes. Stretching is a huge piece for me. It doesn't have to be a lot. I'm not doing a 30-minute yoga session. That's not the thing that I'm doing. But my body has got to feel good. It just does.
Mm.
Affirmations is another big piece of that. So the affirmations, and a lot of people, a good number of people and people that I work with as well, don't necessarily believe in them. But affirmations are also don't have to be this huge grammatical effort in writing the thing. It is a very simple step in, I feel good. I feel good because the science behind that, your hypothalamus, I call it the little squishy thing in the back of your head, it has one job to do exactly what you tell it to do.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
only has the one job. So if you get out of the bed in the morning and everybody has done this and you say, man, I feel like crap today.
It's
Its
like,
job is to validate the statement. Oh, it's because you bumped your toe, you stubbed your toe on the coffee table, you smashed your finger, you ate the whole pizza. Here's all the reasons that you don't feel good. Its job is to validate it. So when you get up and you change the same thing, you just say, "Man, I feel really good today." Its job is to validate it, and it goes and does the thing.
yeah.
So that's a very cheap representation of manifestation, but
Love it.
that's the root of what it is. Um, my wife does a brilliant job at making sure that I eat healthy. Like, does a beautiful job. Left to my own devices, not as much. Not gonna lie, I am lazy when it comes to food. I will own that one. I know that's a limiting belief I just laid on myself. I heard it. But I fortunately have a great partner that cares how I eat. And it's, okay, we're gonna eat
That's so
more
important.
whole foods, less processed foods. We make our own bread. We have a huge garden. We eat wild game. our diet by and large is much healthier than conventional diets.
Yeah.
There's always room for improvement,
Yep.
but those little things, and it's not. I don't go to the gym. Like I don't have a gym membership. I'm too far from a gym for one, but I don't have a gym membership. However, I do have barbells in my office. Like I lift between calls. I stretch between calls when I have a standing desk because I know I am far more functional, far more productive if I'm standing. If I'm sitting, I start slouching, I kind of slump, I do
Yeah.
dumb things. And it's also the biggest tool for me. And I wrote about this in my first book, and everybody's heard Jim Rohn, product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I built a model around that. That is incredibly powerful. How
Wow.
you feel and how you show up in the universe has a huge amount to do with who you're spending time with.
Yes. I'm
It's
so happy saying that.
it's a
Really.
critical piece that we don't pay attention to.
Yeah.
When you start paying attention to it, and there's a whole system around it. There's different ways that you can scale it, and there's an hour call
Yeah.
all by itself that we can talk about that. But the easy button is if you spend time with 5 millionaires, you are likely to be the sixth. If you spend time with 5 marathon runners, you better go get new shoes because you're going to run 26 miles. That's how that's going to go. If you spend time around 5 drug dealers, well, you might still be a millionaire, but you got there a weird way. So, I mean, you got to pay attention to who you're spending time with. If you want to be an award-winning best-selling author, who do you need to spend time with?
Yeah.
Who is, and here's the hard part.
Mm.
In your circles, who are you spending time with that is not serving your greater good? You can't save them all. Sometimes they aren't in your circle. They just don't need to be there right now, but they can be later.
Yeah.
In order to help up level others, we've got to keep ourselves up leveled. We've got to keep ourselves motivated and moving forward. And for me, it goes back to core values and my big why.
Yeah.
Without those are my North Star. That's the guiding light. That's the path. That's where we're going. If it doesn't meet the big why, we don't do it.
Yeah.
That's just how that goes.
Yeah, we are so aligned, and I love what you're saying because it's so important. When I have like my 5 steps to prosperity or abundance or better life, there's always like what we are being and what is your environment, right? Like what we actually choose to spend time with. There are two most important parts of that presentation, always talking about it.
Hmm.
Because when we are not in high energy, when we are not in abundance, when we are not in trust and love and joy, we are not going to have great environment because those people don't want to be around us, because people usually like people that want to spend time with us will be people they are same like us. And I said that there was environment was reflection of us. So the moment I was not having great life, I actually realized not on me but on others, like, that's actually my life. So when I moved to different life, I had to shift myself to see different life. It's actually mirror again of who I am, and I'm meeting these amazing people. So the transition between that is actually not that hard. Like you said, there are tools, there are techniques. You can change that, you can shift it, and you can change yourself, your energy, and your emotions, and how you think, how you walk, through the life, and you will be accepted and loved and belonging where you want to be, because that's you. And the moment it's not you, of course you're not going to belong because that's not you. And it's so many people, I don't know if you noticed that, but so many people in the business environment spend time with people in environments, in groups, in associations they don't want to be inside. They know they don't want to be part of it because they know
Hmm.
it's not aligned with their values. It's actually shredding them apart inside, because we know when we live against the values what it does to us. And and I just can't believe it, right? Like we try to fit in so much, but we didn't realize that we need to be us, authentic, and we need to actually stand out. That's when we start to live our life. So I so agree with what you said, environment and who we are and how we need to be in that space, who we need to be. It's so important. And
Hmm.
yeah, okay, so I think we can talk like 10 hours because I love this topic. So just to serve you today, because I want to be sure that we talk about how you're helping people, and actually, if you want to chat about your total disruption, I would love to hear what it is, and how that serves people as well.
The easy button on that for how we serve people is it goes back to that. If you're thinking you're the best kept secret out there, you're the one making that true. Plain and simple. Like that's the I want to be fluffy bunnies about that, but that's the truth of it. Is if you're the best kept secret, it's your fault. Plain
Yeah,
and simple.
yeah,
You need to, what do you need to do? What has to occur? You have to make a step forward. You've got to choose to do it one way or the other. And there's a million different ways. But with total disruption, we basically built it out to where we have our one TV show is called Business Battleground. And we put 10 business owners on stage in front of the world and we walk them through the coaching process for 12 weeks and show their journey, show their growth in business. And we're really just demonstrating what coaching is. And that's a massive media play. There's a whole thing around just Battleground of getting on that. Our additional media stuff that we're doing is we have a magazine. We'd love to feature people in our magazine. We have another TV show, similar to what Alex is doing with our podcast. We'd love to have you on the podcast. We have a monthly summit conference that we do every month. We'd love to have you on the conference as a speaker, and or audience member and or panel member. We would love to introduce you to our enormous database. We would love to demonstrate. We're also members of the Los Angeles Tribune Podcast Network. We'd love to connect you with them. It's about servant's heart in this space of there is no reason you have to be a secret. If you are a secret agent, and this comes out of my real estate days, there were secret real estate agents. Nobody knew they were a real estate agent. And guess what? They did not have a great big business. You can't be a secret agent. You can't be a secret business owner. And part of that, in addition to where Alex and I have been talking about this community, who you surround yourself with, that's what we've built. We've built that community of high-minded people that are just lifting each other up. It looks like an old school military uh, obstacle course. There we go. When everybody piles up against the wall and everybody just kind of climbs on top of each other and starts
and
helping
help
each
each
other
other.
over the wall and pulling each other over the wall. Get with that group. Get with that group of people that are lifting you up. There's more than enough market share for everybody,
Yeah,
regardless of the industry that you're in. There's more than enough market share for you. Understand that. Hear me say it.
love it. I love
More
the
than enough market share for you
yeah,
guys, which means it's a collaborative effort in business. It does not have to be competitive.
yeah.
You do not have to go alone. We will go faster and farther together.
Yes, amen. I love it. So, that's the really beautiful message at the end as well, because I realized that in coaching, especially coaching and service-based businesses, there is this underlying competition, but it's unhealthy part of competition. Of course, there is healthy competition. I always said it's great, because
Yeah.
that is pushing you and making you better, right? Because you want to improve and you see someone amazing. So it's actually good competition, but there is this like an underlying, I don't know, like toxic competition, maybe I will call it. I shared someone else event and I know the girl from, same school, we studied, we are coaches. And she was like, that never ever somebody did for me. Like I never ever experienced that. Like, thank you so much. And I was like, why we don't do that for each other? It's such a simple thing. Because it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter that we have the same client, but some people will like me, some people will like you, some people will like you, Jake, and that's on them. They have rights to choose and they can choose
Mm-hmm.
from more and it's amazing. Why to not help someone or don't help someone next to you to grow their business, and next time maybe they will, maybe one day, do the same because you teach them different behavior, you teach them generosity, I guess, kindness and all these things that sometimes are missing. So I love when you talk about that this way and you said that we can go further, we can go faster, we can go better together. So
Mm-hmm.
so important. So thank you so much for that. And at the end, probably there's one question that I always ask people, and I love to always hear that like strange insights and things that people say. So if you can go back and you're starting business again today, what you will tell yourself? What do you wish to know?
Hire an accountant day one. I am not kidding. I am 100%. I would say that without hesitation. I would hire, here's what we do to ourselves as business owners. When we start a business, we lie to ourselves and we say, I have to do all the things.
Oh
I
yeah,
am the sole business owner. I need to be the marketing guy, the branding guy, the bookkeeping guy, the sales guy, the coach. I have to wear all of the hats. That is a lie. That is a lie. And in the business model, and I teach this model, and I've talked about this a million different times because the original model is um, at a certain point you hire an admin, just an admin to do general admin, booking appointments and things like that. I followed this model. I hired an admin years ago. She's my director of operations now, and she's amazing. Would I go back and do it again? No. I would hire a bookkeeper because that is the one thing that drives me up a wall to work with. I'm not like I'm good with math. I can run numbers all day long. That's not my highest and best use. That is not how I'm serving the world is getting into QuickBooks and working in QuickBooks. It's not my thing. Spend the money, invest and hire the thing you are the worst at in your business so that your business can move forward. Because the job that you do the worst is the one you're going to spend the most time on,
yeah,
and you're going to get stuck there. So I
yeah.
would I would tell you to change the model, and I would 100% from a very tactical perspective say hire a bookkeeper, hire an accountant so that the business is running from a financial perspective so you can be the best that you can be. Because here's the truth. There's not a lot of coaches I know that are amazing bookkeepers unless they are an accounting coach. The
Yeah.
rest of us, not so much.
Yeah, or the background is in finance. Yeah, I know it's, yeah, we are not good at that. So
Yeah.
good. Thank you so much. I love that. So hire accountant. That's very different from anyone
Yeah.
else. So, that's great
Leverage.
insight. Yeah. And I love that. Yeah, we need to leverage. And I agree. Delegate, delegate, delegate what you can and what you don't really like doing. So okay, so where people can find you, how they can connect with you, what is the best way?
Yep. Um, Easiest place to find us is on our website, total-disruption.com. And you can see in the background total and disruption, but total with the dash in the middle of it, disruption.com. And you can find us all the programs that we have, all the things that we offer, all the freebie stuff. Reach out to us, fill out a contact form, do something, say you heard it on Alexandra Terry's podcast, and let's have a conversation and see what in our arsenal of stuff that we can give you that is something that's going to move your business forward. We've got a pile of different free gifts that we use depending on the audience
Yeah.
that we do that we'll give away. So like one of them is I'll tell you right now, there's what's called a visibility booster kit that we put together. That's literally the directions on how to be seen, whether it's, all the pieces. So that'd be one we'd love to give you. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find us everywhere you find a podcast. You can watch our TV show on E360, Tubi, Pluto, Samsung, Apple, all of the streaming networks called Total Disruption. If you look up Total Disruption, you will find us. So there's
Amazing.
lots of ways. So if you say, "Oh, I couldn't find him," you didn't try.
Well, and I will add on to everyone who is listening. I will share all links and also your resources because again, you're very generous. Thank you very much. We will share your resources into the description of this podcast so you don't have any excuse to find Jake.
There you go. I love it.
So thank you so much, Jake. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to meeting again and talk more because I love when alignment happen, and I love when this happen in the conversation. And there are so many things that came up today in the conversation that I want to kind of discover and talk about. and go a little bit deeper and understand more what you do. So thank you for your time, and hopefully we didn't disrupt your night.
Not at all. I've been looking forward to this call all day.
Thank you.